Here's the question. What if the greatest power move you could make was to walk away and say nothing? Not out of weakness, not out of pain, but out of complete, unstoppable self-respect. This isn't about pretending not to care. This is about becoming a man so focused, so emotionally disciplined, that your silence speaks louder than your heartbreak. Because a real man doesn't chase, he withdraws, and he evolves. She left. Maybe she ghosted you. Maybe she said she needed space. Maybe she chose someone else while you were busy giving her your all. It doesn't matter. What matters now is what you do with that pain. You're at a crossroads. Most men, they spiral, they beg, they lose themselves in the pursuit of someone who already walked away. But you're not most men. You're here because something in you refuses to stay broken. This is the journey of becoming untouchable, stoic, strategic, controlled. The man who doesn't react, he calculates. The man who doesn't beg, he builds. The man who doesn't chase, he transforms into something so elevated, she won't recognize you, but she'll never stop thinking about you. We're about to break down the real mindset of a stoic man. Not soft, not passive, but surgical with his emotions, relentless in his growth, and dangerous in his silence. If you're done being pulled by your emotions, if you're ready to become the one who decides who gets access to your energy, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My silence is my power. Let's get into it. Number 1, the fall. She left, just like that. No warning, no closure, no explanation that held any real weight. One moment you were her priority, the next you're watching her laugh on someone else's Instagram story like your heart was disposable, and your first instinct? It screams at you to fix it, to call, to text, to chase, to fight for something that already let go of you. But listen closely. That's the trap. That's the fall that most men never recover from. Not because she left, but because they kept trying to hold on to something already gone. Chasing her is like running after smoke with bare hands. The more you reach, the more you lose yourself. You think persistence proves love, but it only confirms desperation. When a woman walks away, she's not looking to be convinced to stay. She's testing your center, your core, your identity. Are you going to shatter and grovel at her feet? Or are you going to stand still, stoic, composed, unbothered, and let your silence echo louder than any words you could scream? This is where men are either broken or built. The heartbreak is real. Don't lie to yourself about that. But here's the difference. A real man doesn't collapse into pain, he converts it. Stoicism isn't about pretending not to feel. It's about choosing how you respond. And the strongest response you can give her is no response at all. You want her to feel your absence? Stop making your presence so easy. You want her to regret walking away? Become someone her memory can't handle. She left you. Good. Now leave her with the last version of you she'll ever see. Let her revisit it in her mind 1,000 times, while you become someone she could never get close to again. This is your fall. But it's also your fuel. Let it burn away the weak parts of you. Let it refine you. This isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of your rise. Number 2, emotional control is power. You're angry, you're confused. You replay the conversations, the moments, the way she used to look at you. And now, she's cold, distant, unrecognizable. The storm inside you is raging, and that's exactly where you either become a weapon or a warning. Because here's the truth. A man who cannot control his emotions will always be controlled by someone else. She might expect you to lash out, to break down, to beg. But when you don't, when you remain still, calm, grounded, that shakes her far more than any outburst ever could. Why? Because silence leaves space for her mind to fill with uncertainty, and uncertainty breeds obsession. This is where Stoicism sharpens you like a blade. The Stoics taught one brutal truth: we suffer more in imagination than in reality. That heartbreak you feel, that pain, it's not just from what happened, it's from what your mind keeps replaying. But here's where the power flips. You stop reacting. You start observing. You analyze every emotion like a scientist, not a victim. Dark psychology teaches that power lies in restraint. Emotional chaos is predictable. It's easy to manipulate. But emotional discipline, that's terrifying, because people can't twist what they can't read. They can't play a game with someone who refuses to play. That's the man you must become. Impossible to trigger, impossible to guilt, impossible to sway. When she sees you unshaken, not even flinching at her silence or indifference, that's when the shift begins. You're no longer the boy seeking comfort, you're the man creating distance. And distance, when delivered with poise, breeds curiosity, then regret, then doubt. You're not suppressing your emotions, you're mastering them. You're not ignoring the pain, you're using it as a mirror to see where you lost control and take it back, one thought at a time. Number 3, silence is a weapon. You want to reach out. Just one message, just one explanation. Maybe if you could make her understand how much it hurts, she'd come back. Maybe if you said the right thing, she'd finally get it. Nope. That's the voice of weakness. That's the addiction talking. Because the truth is, the most devastating thing you can do after she walks away is say nothing at all. Silence isn't passive. It's not giving up. It's strategy. It's dominance. It's the art of becoming an unanswered question that haunts her mind. And if you really want her to feel the loss, then you disappear, not just from her feed, but from her reach. No texts, no calls, no let's talk. You go full no contact, not to play a game, but because you've decided that your energy is not up for negotiation. Here's what silence does. It breaks patterns. She's expecting resistance. She's expecting pain. She's expecting drama, because that's what most men give. But you give her nothing. And the human mind can't process nothing. We're wired to seek closure. So when you vanish, the last thing she remembers is you not reacting. And that eats at her. Dark psychology calls this cognitive dissonance. Her brain expected a reaction. It didn't get one. Now it has to invent reasons why, and most of them will start to turn inward. Did I mean nothing to him? Why hasn't he reached out? Did he move on that fast? The silence starts doing what your words never could. It makes her chase the clarity she thought she didn't need. And here's the twist. Your silence isn't about getting her back. It's about getting you back. The you that doesn't beg. The you that doesn't explain your worth. The you that walks away when respect is gone. Every moment you resist the urge to break that silence, you sharpen your self-respect like a blade. So don't break it. Not for closure, not for one last text. Not even if she checks in just to see how you're doing. You owe her nothing. The silence you keep is the mirror that shows her exactly what she lost. Number 4, self-pity is a cage. It hits you hardest at night. That quiet moment when the world slows down and all you're left with is your thoughts. That loop in your head telling you she didn't care, that you weren't enough, that if you had just done more, said less, been better, she'd still be here. But let me say this with zero softness. Self-pity is a prison, and the longer you stay there, the weaker you get. Pain is inevitable. But staying broken? That's a choice. And too many men choose to live inside the wound instead of turning it into a weapon. You keep asking, why did this happen to me? When the real question is, what am I going to do with it? That shift in mindset is everything. Because the moment you stop seeing yourself as a victim, you start moving like a force. She's not coming to save you. That closure you want, that apology, that realization where she suddenly wakes up and chases you down. Nope, it's not coming. And even if it did, it wouldn't heal what you're refusing to face. The healing starts when you realize her rejection wasn't the end. It was the invitation to evolve. Stoicism teaches that adversity is opportunity in disguise. Every setback is a test of your discipline, your focus, your identity. So ask yourself, who are you becoming right now? A man curled up in self-pity, scrolling through old texts, replaying the past. Or a man who's in the gym before sunrise, reading books instead of begging, building a life so powerful she wouldn't even recognize him if she saw him again. Self-pity is a sedative. It numbs you, it comforts you, but it also kills your edge. You don't need comfort right now. You need fire. Let the pain be your fuel. Let the loss become your launch pad. Every minute you spend dwelling on what left you is a minute stolen from the man you're becoming. So get up, move, building, become. Not to prove anything to her, but to show yourself what happens when you stop feeling sorry and start feeling unbreakable. Number 5. Level up quietly. She might think you're hurting. She might think you're waiting, that you're stuck in the same place, obsessing over her like a broken record. Let her think that. While she's watching your last version in her rearview mirror, you're building the one she'll never catch again. Because your evolution doesn't need to be loud. It needs to be relentless. Forget revenge. Forget trying to show her what she lost. That's not the mission. The mission is becoming so locked in, so obsessed with your own growth, that you forget she ever had that kind of hold on you. Hit the gym, read every day, fix your sleep, learn a skill, master your finances, stack discipline until your old self starts to look like a stranger. Because that's the power move. You outgrow the version of you that begged for her to stay. There's no need to post about it. No need to flex it. The loudest growth is the one you don't speak on. You let the results announce themselves. You let the energy shift naturally. One day she'll scroll and see you glowing, moving different, surrounded by peace and purpose. And it'll hit her harder than anything you could have said. Stoic men don't broadcast their evolution. They embody it. They understand that external validation means nothing if the internal world is still weak. So they focus on the foundation. They build the body, the mind, the mission, and they do it without needing applause. Because the point isn't to be seen. The point is to become undeniable. And while she's busy chasing distractions, trying to mask her own emptiness, you'll be too focused to even care. That's when you win. When your growth is no longer about her or what she did, but about you realizing your value was never supposed to be in someone else's hands to begin with. So level up, quietly, consistently, ruthlessly, until she wouldn't recognize you even if she tried. Number 6. Her guilt is her burden. She walked away. Maybe she thought you'd chase. Maybe she assumed you'd fall apart without her. Maybe she believed she'd always have a place in your heart, no matter what she did. Let her believe whatever she wants. That's her reality to wrestle with now. Because here's the truth. Her guilt is her burden, not yours. You don't have to carry the weight of her decisions. You don't have to decode her silence, fix her confusion, or comfort her conscience. The second she left, she made her choice. Let her live with it. Don't send that message. Don't write that closure paragraph. Don't check in just to see how she's doing. Every time you reach out, you relieve her guilt. You soften the sting of her choice. And you stop her from sitting with the silence she created. The more distance you give her, the heavier that silence gets. That's when regret creeps in. That's when the late-night scrolling starts. That's when she replays your stillness and realizes it wasn't weakness, it was strength. And that strength, it's unsettling. Because when a man doesn't beg, doesn't chase, doesn't break, that's when she starts to question everything. Stoicism teaches that what others do is none of our concern. Our job is to remain grounded in our values. So let her guilt grow in the echo of your absence. That's not revenge, that's justice. You don't scream, "You lost a real one." You show it by becoming a version of yourself so grounded, so focused, that she knows she'll never access you again. And if she does come back, if she tries to reconnect once the silence gets loud enough, you look at her with the same calm detachment that once broke you. Because she no longer has access to the man she left. She only has access to the memory, and that memory is her punishment. Let her wrestle with it. Let her wonder. Let her feel the gravity of your silence. Number 7. Purpose over people. She was your focus, your priority, your center. You thought about her when you woke up, You planned your future with her in mind. And when she left, everything collapsed because your world revolved around a person, not a purpose. That ends now. A real man doesn't anchor his identity to a relationship. He anchors it to a mission. Purpose is what separates boys from men. It's the reason you wake up early, train harder, think sharper. It's the fire that doesn't flicker when someone walks away. Because when your life is built around a goal bigger than any woman, no breakup can break you. This is where you shift. You take all that emotional energy, the obsession, the pain, the regret, and you redirect it into your craft, into your grind, into the thing that builds your legacy. Whether it's business, fitness, art, leadership, whatever it is, make it so big that everything else becomes small in comparison. Stoicism teaches indifference to what we don't control and full commitment to what we do. You don't control who stays. You control your work ethic, your discipline, your path. And when a man becomes obsessed with his purpose, he becomes magnetic, untouchable, irresistible, not because he's trying to impress anyone, but because he doesn't need to. She'll notice. They always do. When you stop orbiting around her and start chasing something she could never compete with, the energy shifts. You're no longer accessible. You're no longer waiting. You're ascending. And trust me, nothing is more attractive than a man too focused to be distracted. So building, not for revenge, not for attention. Build because that's what men of value do. And the next time someone walks out of your life, it won't shake you. It'll sharpen you. Number 8. Be a mirror, not a servant. She pulled away, so you pulled harder. She gave less, so you gave more. You thought if you just loved harder, proved yourself louder, held on tighter, she'd finally see your worth. But let's be honest, the more you served, the less she respected you. And the reason is simple. You weren't reflecting her behavior, you were rewarding it. That ends now. You are not a servant. You are a mirror. When someone pulls back, you match their distance. When they go cold, you get colder. Not out of pettiness, but out of principle. Because the man who keeps showing up while being disrespected isn't strong. He's submissive, and submission is never attractive. Dark psychology makes it clear. People don't respect what's predictable. They respect what's balanced, calculated, and consistent with boundaries. You don't owe anyone emotional labor they don't reciprocate, and you damn sure don't explain your worth to someone who treats it like it's negotiable. From now on, your energy is earned, not handed out. When someone shows you who they are, you don't write them a new script. You match the energy, observe the pattern, and move accordingly. The moment you stop over-explaining and start mirroring, everything shifts. The game changes. She will notice. When you stop chasing, when you stop justifying, when you stop being the emotional safety net she took for granted, she will feel it. And the more you maintain your silence, your peace, your boundaries, the more power you gain. She doesn't get to push you around emotionally while you serve her attention on a silver platter. A real man doesn't beg to be understood. He moves with clarity. If she doesn't match it, she loses access. No conversation needed. Number 9. Let her regret, not you. You keep wondering if she regrets leaving, if she misses you, if she thinks about you late at night, the way you think about her. But here's the truth you need to hear. Her regret is not your responsibility. It's her consequence. And your only job now is to make sure you're not the one left with regret. How? By becoming the man she never thought you could be. The one who didn't break, the one who didn't chase, the one who evolved into something far beyond what she walked away from. Because the best revenge isn't anger. It's not bitterness. It's transformation. It's becoming so unrecognizable, so sharp, composed, and focused that she can't look at you without seeing what she lost. The version of you that needed her? He's gone, dead and buried. The new version doesn't reach out, doesn't explain, doesn't care who's watching. He builds, he sharpens, he elevates, and in that process, something powerful happens. You stop wanting her to regret it. You just stop caring altogether. That's when the regret hits her. Not when you try to make her jealous. Not when you flex on social media. But when your absence becomes undeniable, when you've grown so far past her that even if she wanted to come back, she couldn't find a way in, because the man she left doesn't exist anymore. Stoicism teaches us not to seek validation in others' emotions. The goal isn't her guilt, it's your greatness. And when you truly lock into that mindset, not pretending, but truly shifting, you become untouchable. Because no one regrets losing someone who begs, but they never forget the one who walked away without a word and came back stronger than ever. Let her sit with it. Let her remember you when she's lying next to someone who doesn't challenge her. Let her scroll through your life and see a man she no longer knows, but deeply wishes she still did. Number 10. The Stoic Man is unshakable. She thought you'd break. She thought you'd spiral, drown in your feelings, lose your grip, lose your mind. Because that's what happens to most men when they get left. But you didn't chase, you didn't beg, you didn't flinch, you withdrew, you observed, you evolved, and now you are unshakable. The final form of a real man is not loud, it's not flashy, it's not even vengeful, it's calm, precise, detached, because a Stoic man doesn't let emotions dictate his movement. He moves with logic, with clarity, with direction. When she left, he didn't panic, he adapted. He turned heartbreak into fuel, pain into presence, silence into power. This is the man she can't control, can't predict, can't manipulate. Because he's not pulled by his emotions. He owns them. He doesn't chase validation, he creates value. He doesn't fold under pressure. He becomes the pressure. And the truth is, once a man steps fully into this version of himself, everything changes. Women notice, people respect him, enemies fear him, but most importantly, he respects himself. You've become the man who chooses. You don't chase love, you attract it through discipline. You don't chase people, you build paths they try to follow. You don't react, you respond. You're no longer trying to win her back. You're too busy winning in life. She might come back. Others might too. But now, it's not about them. It's about whether you choose to let them in. And most of the time the answer is nope. This is what it means to be untouchable. Not heartless, but guided by reason, not ruled by emotion. You've stopped being a slave to your feelings and started becoming a master of yourself. That's real power. That's what Stoicism looks like when it's lived, not just quoted. So stay sharp, stay calm, stay focused. The storm can rage around you, but inside, you're unmoved. You've been lied to your whole life, told that being a man means chasing, pleading, proving your worth to people who were never worthy of you. But now you know better. A real man doesn't chase. He withdraws, he evolves. He becomes so solid in who he is that nothing, not heartbreak, not rejection, not silence, can shake him. You felt the pain. You sat with it. And instead of letting it break you, you used it. You turned it into fuel, into focus, into fire. You stopped needing closure and started creating distance. You stopped waiting for an apology and started building a life so powerful it demands respect without saying a word. This is the path now. No turning back. The emotions will still come, but now you control them. You lead with purpose. You move in silence. You choose who gets access to you. And most of all, you never need anyone again to validate your worth. You know who you are. If this message hit you deep, if you're done letting other people control your narrative, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below, "I am the storm." This is Stoic Blessing, where we don't chase, we build. Stay disciplined, stay grounded, and remember, your silence, your focus, your evolution, that's the loudest thing she'll ever hear.